All right, so now we're going to look at number 4 on this worksheet, and notice how I have fractions involved. Okay, so you could work with the fractions if you wanted to, but here's a very good piece of advice. Rather than working with fractions, let's go ahead and get rid of them. What if I told you we didn't have to work with the fractions, we can actually get rid of all the fractions? Good idea, right? So let's go ahead and think about this. If I'm going to get rid of a fraction, or again, if I want all the fractions to be the same, in math we need to find the lowest common denominator. So what that means is I need to find the number that goes into the denominator evenly, and into all the denominators evenly, and I want it to be the lowest number. So what number goes evenly into 2 and 4? I think the answer is 4. Here's how I check. So the denominator 2. Does 2 go into 4? Yes, 2 times. Does 4 go into 4? Yes, 1 time. So that 4 is the smallest number that both 2 and 4 go into evenly. So here's what I do when I discover that. That means I need to multiply every fraction by 4 over 1. So in order to get rid of the fractions, I multiply each term by the lowest common denominator, which we just described is 4. All right, so now, when we multiply with fractions, I always like to cross-reduce, meaning diagonally we can cross-reduce. So diagonally, let me go ahead and circle it here. We can cross-reduce going diagonally. So in this case, 2 can go in the 4 2 times. All right, and then we multiply 2 times 3 left over. 2 times 3 is 6. And then on the bottom, it's 1 times 1, which equals 1. But we don't need to write the invisible 1 below in the denominator of the fraction. All right, to the next fraction. We can cross-reduce 4 and 4. Those both become 1s. Then we multiply 1 times 3x, which is 3x. Equals. We can cross out those 4s, make 1s. 1 times 1x is still 1x. Then 2 can go into 4 2 times. And 2 times 1 equals 2. So now I have a new equation. It's the same equation, but now we don't have to deal with all the fractions because we found the least common denominator. So now we can look at this equation and we can just combine like terms. So I know that 3x and 1x are like terms. I know 6 and negative 2 are like terms. Remember, I always like moving my variables to the left. So I'm going to move 1x from the right side to the left side. And if I'm crossing the equal sign, I need to do the opposite. So I need to subtract 1x from both sides. And then the 1x is canceled. And I'm left with 6 plus 2x equals negative 2. Now let's move the 6 over to the right side with the negative 2. And if I'm crossing the equal sign, I need to do the opposite. So I subtract 6 from both sides. And I get 2x equals, same sign, negative 2, negative 6. So add and keep. 6 plus 2 is 8, and I keep the negative. So 2x equals negative 8. And now, looking at my final step, I need to get x by itself, so I divide by 2, and that will give me x equals negative 4. Because remember, a negative 8 divided by a positive 2 will be a negative, and that's negative 4. And there we go.